Alright, so we are now looking at graphing cosine, and as you can see we have a new transformation in here. So we are adding and subtracting inside the function, and so that's going to give us our phase shift. I forgot to write it down here. So we are going to look for a phase shift. Right. So the first rule, you have to rewrite the equation. Okay, you have to factor out this front number. Right. So we're going to rewrite this as y equals 2 cosine. I'm going to put a big parenthesis. I'm going to factor out this 1/2. And when you factor something out, you divide it out. Alright, so we're going to divide 1/2 x divided by x. Well, if I pull it out, I'm just left over with x. But then I'm going to take my negative power 2. I'm dividing by 1/2. So when you divide fractions, you multiply by the reciprocal. So I get minus pi. Alright, so you have to first factor that out, and then you can pull out your information. So, boom, there's 2 out in front. That's my amplitude as always. 2 goes there. The +1 in the back, that is a vertical shift of up 1. I have no reflection. Oops, sorry. No reflection because there's not a negative. It says no. And then my phase shift now is that negative pi. So the negative, it always goes the opposite direction when it's inside the parentheses. So the negative pi was really going to go right pi units. Then from there, I can still get my period as usual. To do 2 pi over w, so 2 pi over 1/2. 2 pi over 1 over 1/2. I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal, 2 over 1. So my period becomes 4 pi. My step is still going to be 4 pi over 4. So my step is just pi. So nothing else changed except for my first step. I have to factor out that number, and that's going to give me a vertical shift, or a horizontal shift, which we call a phase shift. So now I'm going to start with that. I know some teachers teach it differently. I'm going to start with that phase shift. I'm going to go over pi units. And we'll go here. So this is my starting point. And from there, I'm going to count out my step. So pi, 2 pi, 3 pi, 4 pi, 5 pi. And that is one period. And now I'm going to go, my vertical shift is up 1. And my amplitude is 2. 1, 2. Down 2. Alright. And now I'm just going to go ahead and graph it. So cosine, again, this is my starting point. So this is my starting point. Cosine starts at its max, to the midline, to the minimum, to the midline, to the maximum. And now if I wanted 2 periods, I do want to just show it. So 2 periods, this would be my next step. I'm going to go left pi, left pi, left pi, left pi. So go to my midline. Don't forget about your y-axis. It's very common that we just jump over and come all the way over. Y-axis to the minimum, to the midline, to the maximum. And that is graphing cosine with a phase shift. Right.